We're here for another player profile inside the Lair. Today we're going to get to know Galan a little bit more. Dre, thanks for joining us first of all.
Thanks for having me.
Galan, junior right-handed pitcher from Elk Grove, California. We were just talking about born on the 4th of July, so a pretty cool birthday. But let's start from the beginning, before you got to Cal. So graduated from Franklin High School in 2021. You were named the Delta League MVP and Sacramento Bee Large School Player of the Year. You were 7-3 with a 2.86 ERA and 76 strikeouts in 56 innings as a senior. We talked to Loma about his pitching stats, so we got to make sure not to skip your offensive stats. You also hit 385 that year with 20 RBIs and 16 doubles. Let's not forget also your first year at Cal and your Cal career. You're 1 for 1 with a double. So we're going to talk a lot about pitching today, but I wanted to make sure that people know you're an offensive player too. But talk to us about you as a player, as a person before you got here. Tell us about the people that were important in your upbringing, on and off the field. Big influences on kind of what made you who you are before you got here.
Yeah, so definitely my parents. My parents played a huge role. They pushed me. They made me a lot better. They supported me in anything I wanted to do. They would have supported me if I played soccer, baseball, basketball, whatever. Somebody that was a big mentor in my life too is my uncle. My uncle played professional baseball, so he has, ever since I started playing competitively, he's kind of looked over me and helped me out and pushed me in the right direction, so yeah.
Good. So you talk about those people that kind of shaped you as a person. How about on the field? Like what were some things, and really just kind of as you got to that point in your career, you chose where you wanted to be, you chose Cal, obviously. Like what were some either people or reasons that made this the place for you?
Cal was just all around the best option for me, honestly. It's an hour and a half away from home, which was a big deal to me. So going back to my uncle went here and got drafted out of the second round, so I have Cal blood running through my family. I wanted to play in the Power 5, which is, the Pac-12, I think, is the best baseball conference besides the SEC, maybe. And I wanted a good education, and obviously Cal offers one of the best educations in the world.
Sure.
So yeah, those are the factors for me.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit. So last week they did the Latino Heritage Month, and they did a lot of profiles on different student athletes. You were one that they talked about for baseball. Just talk about the culture side. I know in that interview, or whatever you want to call it, you talked about the diversity of Cal and what that kind of meant to you picking Cal also.
Yeah, Cal is super diverse. I know there's a ton of different cultures and around in this school, and I know I have a ton of teammates that are also Latino. I'm a first generation college student, so that's been a blessing and an honor. And yeah, it just runs deep in my family, so it's something I get a lot of support from that side of the family for.
Cool, very cool. All right, so now let's talk about here. You got to Cal, you made obviously the best choice you could have made. You're a Bear. At Cal, let's talk about kind of the first 2 years. So in your first years at Cal, you had 3 appearances as a freshman, 14 as a sophomore. Last year in 2023 as a sophomore, 7 starts, 3 wins, 1 save, 46 innings pitched with 40 strikeouts. So a huge role obviously last year that you're going to build on this year. But what would you say are some of the things in those first 2 years that you've really learned as you gain some experience that you're really working to use to your benefit this year?
Yeah, so I learned a ton my freshman year. I didn't play a ton, and when I did play, I didn't make the best of my opportunities. So that, as tough as it was at the time, it made me such a better player and a better person. I learned so much from it. I took a lot away from it. And I used that when I went to summer ball, then I used that to kind of build on. I just kept building and building and building, and I feel like it set me up for more success last year. And I'm just kind of trying to keep trending in that direction to keep building and keep getting better every day. So yeah, it's just cool.
Talk to me about kind of because this group this year it's interesting how the roster is mixed. It's kind of a lot of one or the other. There's guys like you that have experience and have done it, and then there's some young bucks that are learning a lot, like you said, in year one. Do you take a different approach to how you communicate with those guys, or what have you learned about being a leader with some of these new guys that are going to have some roles like you did in year one, but are still learning a lot like you did too?
Right, yeah, so like I said, I struggled, and it was for on the field and off the field reasons. I was homesick. I was hurt. The game was obviously much harder at the next level. The schoolwork was much harder at the next level.
Yeah.
So I know what that feels like. So I always try to be one of those guys that can talk to the younger guys, and I try to offer support in any way I can. I try to lead by example on the field, but I also try to build like individual relationships with the younger guys. So I want them to feel comfortable and that they can come talk to me if they have questions about classes, about being homesick, anything like that, because I went through that. So yeah, I just try to be that kind of guy to them.
Cool, very cool. Let's look ahead now to the future. I know that no one can forecast the future. They use the DH now in the big league, so maybe no more doubles for you, unfortunately. But 10 years from now, when we look back, the baseball part aside, I think we're going to look back and be proud of the things you continue to do on the field.
Yeah.
But when you look back at your legacy as a Cal Bear, when we do an alumni profile on you 10 years from now, what do you want people to remember you by? What do you want your legacy here as a member of this program to be?
I just want it to be a hard worker. I just want people to remember me. Hopefully Mike New is still manning this job here in 10 years, and hopefully he does for however long he wants to. So I hope he's able to tell, the guys there that I was a hard worker and I came in, I struggled, and I found a way to get around it. So
good. Well, I'd say good luck to you in the Fall World Series, but you're not on my team, so I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
But thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep checking in for more info on more Bears to come.